Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night.
Good morning, my brothers. It's Monday, homeboy. It's Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope everything is good, man. How was your weekend? Talk to me. Get in that chat, man. Let me know you're in the building. Let me know you're here. Don't be, guys, we sit back a lot. We sit back and we chill and we look and we wonder who else is doing what they doing, man. Let's worry about you this morning. Let's talk about you. How you feeling? You alive? You feeling good? You ready for work? You ready for the day? You not ready for the day? That's how we'll start the show every morning. Let's talk to you. Let's talk to you before we get into any teaching. Our channel is about relationship. Our channel is about relationship. It's about people being safe. It's about people feeling good to share who they are. Go in the chat, man. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're from. We welcome our Facebook audience. We welcome our YouTube audience. And today we're welcoming a TikTok audience. And so it's good to be with the brothers. So good morning, man. You got a week ahead of you, but you don't have a week to stress about. You don't have a week to stress out about. What you have is a week of your empowerment. You got a week to make great decisions, right? You got 7 days to decide who you're going to be. You got 7 days. Good morning, James. How are you, sir? Good morning, my brothers. Good morning, Eric. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning on Facebook. Good morning. All right, you're on Facebook. Good morning. Good morning, all my YouTube brothers. Good morning. Um, Lift your chin this morning. You know, you got decisions to make. You don't have complaints. You don't have things you got to worry about. You got decisions to make. Men don't worry. Men decide. Men decide. Get that in your heart this morning, my brother. On a Monday morning, get it in your heart. Men don't whine. We decide. We decide. We sit back and observe. That's what we need on a Monday morning. So good morning, brother. You're valuable this morning. You're amazing this morning. I don't care what happened last week. I don't care where you dropped the ball. Remember, man, my old leader used to teach me, and I tell y'all just about every other day. Yesterday is a history, right? Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery, my brother. All you have is right now, and the question is, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What time is it? What you gonna do at 5:51 in the morning, right? On a Monday morning. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna decide. Let me welcome our TikTok audience. Let me welcome our TikTok audience. But good morning, man. What are you gonna decide this morning? You know, whatever, this is the thing, whatever went wrong last week. Excuse me, guys. I'm just trying to get on the TikTok, and I don't know how. Whatever went wrong last week, guess what? Decide. How you gonna change it this week? What you gonna do? What you gonna do this week to change that thing? Gotta get this focus back going. Come on, focus. Where we at? We got to get back on. Get back on. Good morning, Cass. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, the sisters. Hey, the sisters. I got a word for y'all, sisters. Not a word of prophecy or nothing like that. I'm starting a new podcast to go along with this, the sister podcast. I'm starting a Dear Sister podcast. I'll be putting out the first episode today. So all my sisters that sneak in on the brothers, goodness gracious, we got to get a focus in this joint. Come on, camera. What we doing? What we doing? There you go. Come on. Where we at? All right. But get your mind right this morning, man. Decide. We get this clarity going. Let me get on TikTok. Decide. You know, whatever went wrong last week, guess what? You got the power to decide. That's what I don't think men realize, man. You got the power to decide. That's what you have. That's in you. The power to decide who you gonna be. Who you gonna be this week. What decision you gonna make. Where you gonna stand up. Where you gonna stand up this week like you haven't before? There you go, the camera. You gonna stand up? Hey, here's a big question. Here's a big question on a Monday morning. Who you gonna forgive this week? Who you gonna forgive? Who you gonna forgive this week? Who you gonna apologize to? Huh? That's the question. Who you gonna forgive? Who you gonna apologize to? Who you gonna let off the hook? These are big time questions now, right? Who you gonna let off the hook? I ain't sneaking in. Yes, you are, Cass. I ain't sneaking in, but I'm excited about this. What time does the first episode come out? The first episode, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna record it. I'm not going live on the Dear Sister podcast this morning. This afternoon, I'll be recording an episode and dropping it on there. So guess what, Cass? You can go on it. The page is built for the sisters that's in the room. The page is built. You can go on Dear Sister podcast on YouTube right now, and you can subscribe. I'm dropping videos today, probably two videos today on the Dear Sister podcast. And let me tell y'all, this is where I'm going. Where I'm going is, I feel like this. If I can get men healed and I can get the sisters healed, this is the thing. This is not a relationship podcast. I don't care who get with who, because that's not my goal in life. My goal in life is to get people healed. And if I can get some brothers healed to see life as they should, right? And I can get men, and if I can get some women, right, who are on top of the game, healed and seeing themselves for who they should be, right? That's the thing. I gotta get to the point where I am up on my game, on who I am, who I'm deciding to be, right? And I get some sisters on their game. Listen, once I start the Dear Brother, Dear Sister podcast, then at some point we'll start seeing healed relationships. We'll start seeing healed families, right? The Garden of Eden started with a family. And so I'm not chasing all this other stuff. I'm chasing God's original intent. God's original intent was to get families together. So that's what mission I'm on, man. I'm not on a mission to just be popular on YouTube. I've never been on a mission to be popular in anything I've been a part of, right? But my mission is to get women healed, get men healed, and get us looking at each other different, because there's so much corruption on the internet. Think about it. Think about it. There's so much corruption on the internet, right? They're making men hate women and women hate men. And you got the passport bros, right? And you got the soft woman, whatever they calling that. And you got all these divisions in our society. You got all these divisions, right? You got divisions between women and men. If you got constant contention between women and men, then what happens to a generation of children whose parents hate each other? Right? If you got a bunch of men and women, because this is the thing that always blows my mind. As much as men hate women and women hate men and nobody like each other, we still making babies. We still making babies. So we can't hate each other that much. And guess what? If we can't stand each other, let's look for a healing. So we stop producing children who don't know what love is, who don't know how to get through their daily life. My God, why is it so hard to get on? Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get on. All right, I got to do this tomorrow. There's no way that I can get on live TikTok. It's too much. All right, let's get into it today. But yeah, y'all, seriously, that's the mission I'm on. Y'all want to know what tip I'm on? That's what tip I'm on. Listen, y'all barely hear me say like, subscribe, and share, right? I was a pastor. I retired from pastoring probably almost 5 years ago. My staff on my church would always get angry with me because they say, you never asked anybody to join the church, because I never cared if anybody joined the church. I'm not looking to build an army around myself. Who am I? Who am I? Who the hell am I that I need a bunch of followers? No. I'm not interested in people following me. I'm interested in people's lives getting better by my teaching. Go on my website. Here's the proof. Go on my website right now, christianwinners.com. Right? I got free men's coaching on there right now. Free. Who else in the world is doing it for free? You know why I can't charge for the wisdom God gave me? Because I asked for it. I asked for this wisdom and I suffered for this wisdom. Right? And so my thing is, I will give away what God gave me. That doesn't make sense to the world, but I'm in this world. I'm not of it. So I don't have to be like this world. Right? My bills will be paid. Everything will be cool because God will take care of me. But there's too many people that are hurting in this world, bleeding in this world, and everybody's charging for wisdom. A wisdom that you always got to charge for ain't wisdom. It ain't wisdom. Everybody's trying to monetize their gift. Who in the world is going to give the world something, right? Right? Now, y'all know I'm a believer. I know I got some people that are unbelievers on here, but that don't separate us. But right, but God, the scripture says, for God so loved the world that he gave. There's no men now. I'm going to get into my teaching in a minute, but I'm teaching here. There's no men now that just want to give. For God so loved the world that he gave his only. Right? Where are the men now who are willing to give their only? Society has messed our mind up. We are takers now. As men, we're takers. We're takers. We're not givers. We're not sowers. We got to get to the point. Let me see. Hold. Because I got people on Instagram wanting to get in here. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can go live on Instagram. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to get into it. Let me see if I can go live on Instagram right quick. Sorry, y'all. I'm coming back. Here I am. Let me see. Because Instagram's trying to get in the building. Uh-oh. Instagram is in the building. Let me welcome my Instagram. Everything's falling apart. All right, here we go. Let me welcome my Instagram audience. Welcome my Instagram audience. This is the first time I'm going live on Instagram in the morning. So Instagram, I'm on at 5:45 every morning, meeting with the men. I'm empowering men, 5:45 every morning. I'm waking men up. I'm getting you off to your job. I'm lifting your life on Instagram right now. This is the Dear Brother Podcast. I go live 5:45 every single morning to speak to men on their way to work. I lift your life up. I help you lift your life up. I help you think of yourself better. That's what I'm in the business of. And for the ladies on Instagram, there's some ladies on Instagram. I have not left you out. I got a lot of men following me on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook for my Dear Brother Podcast. Yes, I'm lifting men up. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to get men healed nationally, to get men healed globally. And then I started the Dear Sister Podcast. The Dear Sister Podcast will be on. I'll drop my first episode today. My goal is if I can get women and men healed, we can change families. We can change relationships. I'm not here to be a star. I'm not on Instagram to be a star, YouTube, or any of it. I'm on these things to lift up a generation of people and not try to monetize my gift. I got to share with the world. The world is in trouble and there's no leadership. There's no leadership. Everybody's taking. Everybody's trying to build something of their own. But there's have to be somebody that are willing to sacrifice their life to give to a world that's hurting. All right. No, you can sneak in. Listen, Cass, a lot of women sneak in. Sorry, Cass says sorry about sneaking in though. Now that you had now that you have one for women, I can head out. I have a great day, bro. You don't have to leave, Cass. The ladies, you don't have to leave on Instagram. You don't have to leave. Let's get into it though. Let's get into this today. I want to talk to men today about original intent for your life, right? And I want to tell men this morning, I want to tell you to go home, bro. That's what I want to do. I want to tell you to go home. I remember when I went through my first divorce. I was in an apartment and my brother Jason came over and we were chilling and we were talking and I'm sitting there complaining about my life and complaining about this and complaining about my marriage, and really my marriage wasn't even falling apart. It was my life was falling apart. When I got divorced, I want to talk to y'all about that. Like, might be some divorced men out there on Instagram or YouTube. It might be some divorced people out there. And I'm going to tell you right now that when you go through a divorce, right, a lot of times for me, it wasn't even about the marriage. Life had gotten so stressful that I was falling apart and I felt like I couldn't hold anything else together. And Jason said something very interesting to me. He said, yo, go home, bro. That's what he told me. As I was divorced for less than a year. I'm in some raggedy apartment in the hood somewhere, and my brother said, yo, go home. And I said, why, man? Why should I? And here I am, all these excuses. And he said, yo, go home. Do you know that was probably almost 20 years ago? Almost 20 years ago, he said, yo, go home. And guess what? I never made it. I never made it back. I never made it back to that home with my wife. I never made it back to that home. So the goal, this is what I'm saying, that there's some in my mind. I said, I can't go home. I can't go home. I can't live there. I'm too stressed out there, this and that. Again, it wasn't the stress of my marriage. It was the stress of myself, right? It was the stress of myself. Welcome everybody coming on Instagram. It was welcoming. It was accepting myself. And I was broken, man. I was broken and I couldn't see myself clearly. So I couldn't see my marriage clearly. That's what I was going through. I was broken. And one thing about men, we have to admit when we're broken. We have to admit when things aren't going so right. We have to admit when we can't get our mind together, because the lack of admitting that you're broken is what keeps you broken. Let me say it again. When you don't want to admit you're broken, that's what keeps you broken. But I'm going to tell you, somebody here, go home. Go home. And when I talk about home, I wrote a chapter about that in my book, Rediscovering. Go get my book, Home Where Hurt Men Heal. Rediscovering home, where you first felt free, whole, and prepared to succeed. Go home. Go home. And that home may be back with your wife and your children. That home may be back in your original dream state where you had a vision in your mind of who you were and what you wanted to be, right? That home may be back to your children because you don't see them enough like you want to. That home may be back to that man who pursued the finance you needed and was setting yourself up financially. There are places as men that we've been, right? And that's when that's why I wrote in my book, we felt free, we felt whole, and we felt prepared to succeed. It might have been with a young lady that you really loved and cared about, right? You didn't have the guts to stay there, right? Or you didn't know how to stay with one woman. Whatever flaw you made, go home. Go home. Go home where that love was. Go home to your children so they can give you a hug and let you know, hey, Dad, we love you. Go home. Go home. Where is home? Home may be back to your original diary book where you wrote down your dreams for your life. Go home. Who did you want to be? Who did you want to be before things fell apart? And that's what I want to get into today. Who did you want to be before things fell apart? What was your desire? Who did you want to be? Where were you going before things fell apart? Where were you going before your first disappointment? Before someone broke your heart or took something from you? Who were you? Where were you? Right? Did you feel strong? Did you feel confident? Right? When you were in that gym and you're bringing your body together, how'd you feel? You know? Did you feel like, man, I can conquer the world, right? Small things weren't bothering you, right? You didn't need to get high and drunk to make it through the day all the time. I'm not knocking a drink. I'm not knocking somebody who smoked. What I'm telling you is there's a difference between enjoying a substance, and there's a difference between enjoying a substance and trying to escape life through that substance. Right? It's a difference. And I think a lot of times we try to escape life because we can't find the original intent of our life. What was the original intent of your life? Let me take a pause. Let me get in the chat. Let me welcome some people. Eric, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, my brothers. Good morning. Good morning. Where was the original intent of your life? How'd you feel about yourself? Right? Go home. So let's get into it. Let's get into this a little bit because I want to show you something. I want to talk about Adam before he fell. Number one, Adam of the Bible. Yes, I want to talk about Adam of the Bible. And y'all know I'm not here to sermonize. I am a spiritual man, and I believe that the Bible has principles and truth that can take people where they got to go. And I'm not going to stay here long, but here's the proof. People who don't believe the Bible use the Bible every day to succeed. People who believe the Bible don't use it to succeed. People who don't believe the Bible use it to succeed. People who do believe the Bible don't use it to succeed. They rather be religious than use the principle to grow. And so here's the principle of Adam. Adam had a life before he fell. Adam had a life before he fell. Yes, he did. He had a successful life before he fell. What was Adam's life? God had given Adam a garden. Adam had his life together. Adam was confident in who he was. Adam was putting things together as God told him. It was just Adam and it was his garden. It was Adam and it was his garden. Let me say this to you. There's a time in your life where you don't need anybody around you as a man. Feel this. There's a time when you don't need anybody around you. You don't need anybody taking from you as a man. There's a time in your life where you have to approach life by yourself. Right? To build who you are, to build, because you cannot live y'all go check out my other video on a distracted man, but you can't live a distracted life and expect to succeed that way. It just doesn't work. You got to move distractions out of your life. There's certain things you got to remove from your entire thinking system in order for you to get where you got to go in life. There's a time where you have to say, you know what? Let me move what doesn't belong. Adam had a garden and he had a vision. That was the original life of Adam. I'm going to rush to this point because I want to make some more before we go. But listen to me. The problem with Adam is after Adam fell, he was so focused on what mistake he made and what he lost that he never got back to who he was before he fell. So what you're saying to us, Christian, I'm saying to you that you spend so much time trying to get right that you don't realize that you are right. You can't spend your life trying to fix yourself. Sometimes the way to fix yourself is to revisit who you were before things fell apart in your life. Who was I before this incident? Who was I before this divorce? Who was I before that crime? Who was I before that depression? Who was I before? And that's a real focus that we have to have as men and as people. Because we spend so much time trying to fix us that we don't spend the time looking at who we were before we fell. How much potential did you have before things fell apart? Right? Before you lost your job, before you lost your old lady, right? Because we rehearse our failures, brothers. We rehearse our failures. We rehearse our failures over and over again. We rehearse our failures. I'm trying this morning to push your mind back to a place, right? Welcome on Instagram if you're coming in. I'm trying to push your mind back to a place where you believed in yourself. Come on. Listen to me. This is going to blow your mind. It's going to mess up some of you. If some people in here that are religious, it's going to blow your mind. But Adam didn't have to believe in God because God believed in Adam. Y'all gonna see that on the short. Y'all hear me? Adam didn't have to believe in God because God believed in Adam. That was the original intent of man. The original intent of man was not for man to believe God. The original intent of man was for God to believe in man. God believed in Adam, and Adam believed in himself. That's what we lost, brothers. You lost your confidence somewhere. You lost your confidence when things fell apart. You lost your confidence, man. Instagram, for those of you coming in, I'm here 5:45 every morning, right? You lost your confidence, right? You lost your confidence when you connected with that toxic woman. You didn't trust yourself anymore. When you made that bad financial decision, you stopped trusting yourself. And that's the goal of any enemy to a man, is to get you to stop trusting yourself. He doesn't want you to believe in you. That's why you have Christian people that is who I am, right? You have Christian people that believe in God but won't believe in themselves. Y'all hear me? Wake up, brothers. Wake up. You guys who go to church and believe in God, right? I don't go to church, but I believe in God and I serve him every day. I'll explain that another day, right? But do you believe in you? Because God believes in you. Here's the proof. Somebody saying, well, Christian, you crazy. God, you crazy. You making that up. No, I'm not. Here's the proof. When God gave Adam a garden, what did he do? He said, Adam, here's everything. Now, I'm not going to name anything. I'm not going to name anything in your garden. Y'all listen to me, brothers, because this is what you need on the Monday morning to lift your week up. God trusted Adam. He said, Adam, here's everything. Now, I'm not going to name anything. Y'all hear me, Instagram? Y'all hear me, Facebook, YouTube? I'm not going to name anything. I trust you to name it. So that's a giraffe? All right. Oh, that's a monkey? Oh, okay. That's an orange? Okay, cool. That's a tree? Straight. That's a leaf? My man. That's dust? Okay. Because why? I trust you. The original intent of the relationship with God was for God to trust man. That means that God believes in man voice. Go back about 2 episodes ago. I talked about the power of man voice. The power of man voice is that when you speak, God sits up and he listens and he says, that's my man. Woo wee. Come on. Y'all hear me? Oh, that's my man. That's what I want God to say. That's what I want God to say. That's what I want the community to say. That's what I want the hood to say. That's what I want Fortune 500 companies to say. I want them to say, yo, that's my man right there. That's what you want your kids to say. That's what you want your wife to say. That's what you want your girlfriend to say. That's what you want your church, your mosque, your synagogue. That's what you want them to say about you. Yo, that's my man. I trust him. He's going to carry vision. He's going to carry this thing correctly. He's going to carry manhood. But the only way to tap back into yourself, right? You got to tap back into yourself, tap back into who you were before things got screwed up. And we all know it. We all know the times in our life where things fell apart. We all remember when stuff just didn't go right no more. We all remember who we invited in our life that screwed our life up, screwed our money up, screwed our focus up, screwed up our attention. We know when life changed. We know when we were no longer ourselves as men anymore. You remember? You know the moment. You know the moment you lost your confidence. Yes, you do. You remember. You remember you losing your confidence as a man. You know what happened. You know when you were up. You know when you were what? You know when you were home. You know when you believed in you, when you felt most accepted. And that's a big need for men. This is one thing I want to encourage you to do as men. Don't ignore the need for acceptance. Let me say it clearer. I'm going to say the same thing. Don't ignore your need for acceptance as a man, because our pride is our problem. Our pride. What we do is we'll lift up. I don't need whatever. I'm cool. I'm good. Right? That's what we say to our wives or our girlfriends. Yeah, I'm good. Are you good, babe? Yeah, I'm good. You're not good. You're not good. And you got to be willing to see the moments where you aren't well put together. Who were you? Now, this is the question. We already discovered who was Adam before the fall. The question is, who were you before the fall? When God trusted you, when you trusted your decisions. Who were you? Who were you before you lost? Come on, bro. Who were you before you lost? Who were you before you took a L? Who were you before your money got messed up? Who were you before you got sick? See, man, listen, bro, I'm so thankful for every one of you every morning, bro, because these are the conversations that men aren't having. The internet is full with terms like simp and this guy and he's a simp and he not chasing the right one. High value man. All that's trash. All of it's trash. And I will argue that with anybody on the internet at any moment, that the internet and social media and some of these trash podcasts have killed the nature of men and made us animals instead of righteous men. Because they teach us not to care. They teach us that muscles is manhood and money is manhood. And that's why during the Depression, you had rich men that still had 10 million in the bank jumping out of windows, while you had poor crop farmers that didn't have a dime in their pocket, but they knew how to make it through anything. Why? Because they valued themselves. It wasn't about what they have. It was about who they are. Let me get in the chat. Let me see. Yes. Yeah, Ron, you remember that fall. And you got back. Yes, you did. Larry, my man, good morning, Larry. Believe in God. Don't believe in you. Huh? But don't believe in you. Yes. That's the thing, Larry. God wants you to believe in you. He wants you to believe in you. All right, let me see. Eric, see. A point must have hit Eric hard. Eric said, damn. All right. How do you start? What, Eric? Go back in there. How do you start what? If you're still on the thing, on the page, go back in there and say, Eric, you said how do you start? How do you start what? Go back in there and I will answer that question the best as I can. All right. The best version is, see what I'm saying, Ron? You become the best version of yourself based on what you're willing to sacrifice. Feel me, gentlemen. You're only able to see your best self based on what you're willing to sacrifice. You're only able to see your best self based on what you're willing to sacrifice. You will never see your best self if you don't want to make a sacrifice. Sacrifice what? Sacrifice the thing that's been in your way. See, this is the thing, gentlemen. Don't act ignorant. You know what messed you up. You know what hindered you. You know the kind of woman that always messes you up. Come on, let's kick it real now. It's too early in the morning to BS each other. Come on. You know what kind of woman messed your life up, and you keep on chasing the same kind. You got to take accountability for that, bro. You know certain homeboys get you thinking stupid. You know. And you know every time you're around them, you fall to the nonsense, right? You fall right into the game. You know. Oh, let me say this. I see Yolanda. Yolanda, good morning, Yolanda. Yolanda from Dallas. Hey, Yolanda. I was just telling another sister, Cass, in the chat, that I just started a woman's podcast called Dear Sister. Okay, I just started the Dear Sister podcast. Go on YouTube right now, and it's already up. I haven't put any videos there yet. Excuse me, there'll be some there today. But all the ladies, gentlemen, y'all be surprised how many ladies are in our podcast. All right. So Yolanda, listen up, sister. I got the Dear Sister podcast. You can go on YouTube right now and you can subscribe to the Dear Sister podcast. So I'll be speaking to the ladies too. All right. But you're always welcome to come into the men. There are a lot of women, like I told Cass, that sneak into the men's department. Y'all sneak in here to see what we talking about. And that's cool. I think that's dope. Because eventually I'm going to lift up generations of men, generations of women, and then we'll all come together in one space. I'm on a mission, yo. I'm on a mission. All right, let's get back into it. But who were you before the fall? Revisit yourself. I don't think as men we do enough visiting. We don't do enough visitation of ourselves. We don't do enough sitting down with ourselves. And I know why. Because it's always based on the things we got to do. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to get the job done. We got to get some money. We got to get the kids to the football practice. We got to get our daughter to dance practice. We got to please our wife. We got to take on a date. There's so many things we're doing. The only thing that we don't allow ourselves to visit is ourselves. And if we do visit ourselves, what we do is when we do visit ourselves, we only focus on the negative sides of ourselves. Right? What we didn't accomplish, what we don't have, how much work we need to do, right? The focus is on what we don't have. Brothers, you got to take a pause. I always teach this about pace because the only thing you can do fast is crash. Right? And so sometimes you got to pause to think on yourself. And think on what? Think on yourself before things got messed up. Was I homeless? Yes, I was homeless 2 years ago, 2022. I'm not focused on being homeless or I wouldn't be speaking to you. Right? It happened. Hey, I want to say this to somebody. Hey, bro, it happened. It happened. I'm growing over it. So put that in the chat, somebody. I'm growing over it. Tell yourself that as a man. You got to speak to yourself. You got to speak to yourself throughout the day. I'm growing over it. I'm not just getting over it. I'm growing. I'm growing over it. So I never have to revisit that place. I'm growing over it, man. Yeah, I'm growing over it. I'm become a better man because of it. I'm becoming wiser because of it. Right? I'm growing over it. That's what you got to. I'm growing, man. I'm growing. I don't respond the same way. I don't get as angry. I pause before I act. This is how you can tell you're changing. You can't tell how you're changing by waiting for other people to change. You know, you can only, as a man, you can only tell how you're changing based on being under the same pressure, but not with the same response. That's how you know you're growing as a man. You're not growing as a man based on what's in your pocket or your bank account. No, you're growing as a man by your response to life. That's how you know you're growing as a man. Because this is the thing. It's hard to revisit yourself as a man because you're lost in the needs and expectations of other people. Right? If you're a single man, just give me a thumbs up. If you're a single man, I got wisdom for single men. I got wisdom for single men. If you're a single brother, be careful. Be careful, bro. Be careful out here. I'm gonna say it again. I think I said this on one of my last podcasts. But the book of Proverbs, y'all feel me? The book of Proverbs was not Proverbs 31 specifically that we talk about, that women talk about, becoming a Proverbs 31 woman. The book of Proverbs in the Bible. The book of Proverbs wasn't for women. The book of Proverbs was completely for men. It was a father writing a letter to his son, teaching his son 30 principles of wisdom. 30 principles of wisdom. He taught his son, this is how you got to be. This is how you got to think. This is how you handle money. This is how you handle friendship. This is how you handle kids. This is how you handle a wild woman. Proverbs is crazy. I got a book on it. I'm not going to release it till December called Letters to My Son. I break down the whole book of Proverbs, all the wisdom of Proverbs. I break it all down and I'm going to put it out to you. But the point I'm making is 30 books of wisdom. And the 31st book was about a woman. Now, women have come and hijacked that scripture and said, oh, it's for us. No, that scripture wasn't for women. That Bible, that Proverbs wasn't for women. Proverbs 31 was for men because what he was saying to him, my son, if you perfect all these things about yourself and you marry the wrong woman, all your wisdom and virtue will be lost. Hey, know yourself before you get married. In fact, some of y'all right now, if you're engaged and you don't have a full grasp of yourself, you're going to have a messed up marriage. You better go home before you get married, bro. You better go home before you get married. You better heal before you get married. Because I'm going to tell you something about marriage. Marriage will bring the best out of you, but it'll also bring the worst out of you. Marriage is the only relationship that can take you to your highest height and your deepest depth all at the same time. Be careful who you connect with. You will lose everything. Let me look in the chat. Let me see. You answered on IG. Let me see. Let me see what you got to say on IG. And I got to take my glasses off for this, man. Just want to find that moment because honestly, my situation was before I became the man I grew to be. It's in my family bloodline to be driven and forward thinking. Yes. Now, this is the thing. Let me read it again. Just want to find a moment because honestly, my situation was before I became the man I grew to be. It is in my family bloodline to be driven and forward thinking. It's also in your family bloodline to be violent. Now, I know somebody on the chat saying, oh, why are you talking to Eric like that? Because Eric got the same last name as me. Now, I'm going to teach y'all something through talking to my cousin. In my bloodline, we are brave. We are not afraid. As you see how I talk, this is how the men in my family are, right? Either we're very ignorant with it or we're very wise with it, but we are forceful. We'll get the job done and we don't fear anything. In fact, if it's a fire, heat it up. Let me run into it. That's how we are, right? But you got to know the balance of who you are. You got to know how high it'll take you. You got to know how low it'll take you. You got to be well aware of yourself before you start connecting with people. Because if you don't know who you are as a man before you get connected with a woman, you will get lost in her expectation. And who's to say that her expectation of you is who you actually are? Let me tell you something, brothers. Be very careful. Be very careful, because some of you men, this is why I'm glad I started the Dear Sister podcast, because I'm gonna talk to women about this. Women have a fantasy in their mind of a husband. It's a fantasy. It's not real. It's a fantasy. And it happens when they're little. I'm not knocking women for this. It's part of who they are. But it's not enough wise women teaching younger women that the fantasy you have as a man, you can hold on to it, but you got to make room for the real man that steps into that fantasy. Most women have a fantasy of who a man is, or who her husband should be, or how he should be. And it's not real. She made it up. No one can ever be what she made up in her head. But in her head, you're going to become what she made up when she was 6 and 7 years old. That's why a lot of women totally destroy their relationship, because they're not willing to give up their fantasy of a man. A lot of women don't want a man. They want a fantasy of a man. Just like most women don't want marriage. They want a wedding day. Mm-hmm. Cheers. Man, that's why I got to start the Dear Sister podcast, so ladies don't come in here telling me off. But guess what? It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. You will get lost in our expectations. And another thing, you'll get lost in a woman's expectations. You'll get lost in what happened to her before. You got to be careful of this too. This is another reason why you got to be careful of what kind of woman you connect with, because there are a lot of women that only want you to be their healer from their failed relationships. And you don't come into the relationship even. You come into the relationship down here trying to claw your way back, right? And you didn't even never take anything down. Here you are just coming into the relationship because you have to be the healer of this woman. You got to fix what her daddy didn't. You got to fix what her prom date didn't. You got to fix, you see what I'm saying? So are these women lovely women? Yes, but you better be careful getting with a woman that needs you to fix everything other men did to her. You'll run out of energy before you can actually love her. Be careful. Be careful, because you're not a fixer. It's not your job to fix a woman. Hey, bro. Hey, it's not your job to fix a woman. You know, I hear women all the time say, well, I ain't fixing no man. Well, we're not fixing any woman. Understand this, bro. Understand that there's such thing as emotional equality. Emotional equality. And a lot of us men, we never achieve emotional equality in our relationship, because the needs and the emotional needs of the woman overtake the whole relationship. So your emotional needs get ignored, right? You already come in thinking they don't matter, but now you're with a woman who her feelings only matter in the relationship. And so a lot of women worship at the foot of their pain, and they want you to worship at the foot of their pain too. It is not your job to fix a woman, just as much as it's not a woman's job to fix you. It's not your job to fix her. It's your job to fix you. And if you fix you, you might not choose her anymore. This is the thing, bro. Part of choosing the wrong woman is misperceiving yourself. You don't perceive yourself correctly, so you choose the wrong woman because you perceive yourself incorrectly, right? If you always this is how I was as a single man. I always felt the need, I guess, because of being a leader and traveling and helping people all the time. I carried that over into my what's up Instagram. I'm sorry, I got to look at y'all. I got to remember y'all there. This is the thing. I forgot, as a single man, I was so caught up in building people's lives and helping people that I started to do the same thing when I chose a woman to date. I wouldn't pick a good woman for me. I would pick a woman that I had to fix because I was used to being a fixer. And most of the women that I would choose to fix wind up breaking me because I shouldn't have to do in a relationship what I was doing in a church or on a mission field. What's up, Instagram? I'm glad y'all here. I do this 5:45 every morning. I'm talking to men in the morning, 5:45, the Dear Brother podcast. Hey, y'all hear me? And another thing, listen to me. When God created Adam in that garden, Adam was by himself. He was by himself. Guess what he did? He didn't start looking at the animals. He waited for God to produce something that was worthy of him. Y'all hear me? As brothers, when you start looking around this world, imagine this world being the garden and you being a single man in it. Don't start looking at the animals. And that's what some of you have done. You've messed your life up because you connected yourself with the animal woman, the beastful woman, the vengeful woman, the crazy woman, huh? The woman that comes to drain you. You got to wait for God to give you in a better form. Christian, you losing your mind now. What you talking about? Eve was only Adam in a different form. As a single man, you got to look for yourself in another form. Otherwise, you'll wind up marrying an animal and she'll screw your whole garden up. Oh, buddy. So go home. Go home. Where is home? Home is when you felt accepted, loved. Some of you have business minds. You got a business model. Some of you had a model in your head when you were a kid. I want to sell this. I want to do this. I want to become this. Right? And addiction and brokenness and bad relationship, all that stuff comes, and it comes to try to weigh you down to make you believe you don't have the strength or those dreams are gone. Hey, bro, your dreams aren't gone. I thought my dreams were gone when I was living in that car. Those dreams weren't gone. Those dreams weren't gone. In fact, being homeless was part of it. Being hungry was part of it. Being in a car with COVID was part of the becoming of my dreams. Don't give up on who you wanted to be based on circumstances. Circumstances don't make men. Decisions do. Let me say it again. Circumstances don't make men. Decisions make men. You got to make a decision today. You got to make a decision on a Monday of what kind of man you're going to be for the rest of the week. You hear me, brothers? What you going to be? What you going to do? Who are you? All right, let me get into this. Goodness gracious. Revisit the dreams and the visions you had before things happen to you. When you revisit your old dreams, it helps you find the authentic you. When you revisit old dreams, it helps you remember the authentic you. Take your mind back. Some of you have very big dreams. They're outside of your financial ability. So what? That's the whole point. What's a dream that's not bigger than you? When you know you got a real dream in your head, men, you got a real dream when you don't have the ability to do it. As a man, if you got a dream and you can do it, that dream's not big enough. Hear me, bro. If you got a dream and you can get it done, it's not big enough. You know what I imagined? I won't give it all to you because I don't want nobody to try to steal my stuff. Ain't nobody steal my stuff. God gave it to me. But ultimately, maybe 5 or 6 years from now, what I did was I went. This is my vision for Dear Brother. I want to let y'all know that it's not a podcast. That's why I'm not on here. Like, share, subscribe, right? Right? Share it because men need it. But my goal in 5 to 6 years is to have a meeting in the middle of the United States. Now, I know some of y'all going to Google that and find out where it is. It's okay, right? Yeah, I believe it's in South Dakota. But I want to have a meeting in the middle of the United States with a gathering of men of all races, all kinds, all creeds, all religion. That's my goal through the Dear Brother podcast. I didn't start this to stay on no microphone and get monetized and say, oh my God, I got 3,000 followers. No, bro. No. My goal is to gather men from all over the country of all different kinds and put us in the middle of the United States. I believe it's in South Dakota, and have a big gathering there to discuss and carry on and lift men's lives up, send them home to empower their city. Oh, by the way, hey, go on my website, brothers. Listen to me right now. Go on my website, christianwinters.com. Go on my website, christianwinters.com. Sign up for the Table of Giants right? It starts, it's 4 weeks. It's on Saturday, once a week for 2 hours. I'm helping men rediscover themselves and their life purpose. It's free. All my services are free. They're only donation, right? You give a donation because the donation will drive me to help other men that are just like you. I said this earlier. People think I'm crazy. You need to charge. You need to charge. I refuse to monetize the gift that God gave me. I'm going to give it away to men and watch men be blessed and watch men bless me for what I served them with, okay? Go on my website right now, christianwinners.com. Sign up for my table of 12. I only take 12 men per month. Every month I'll do it, but I only take 12 men. I'm sitting with 12 men at a time online on Saturday, 2 hours in the morning, 9 to 11 on Saturdays. And I'm sitting with men, 12 men, sitting with men, helping them rediscover themselves, forgive themselves, and then kick them into purpose. Go to my website right now, christianwinners.com. I also have one-on-one men's coaching. I only coach men on that site. All right. Men's coaching. All right. That's also donation based. I also do group coaching. That's also donation based. All right. So visit my website. If you got some things you need to get together, one-on-one coaching, and also be sure, brothers, be part of that first 12 of that table of 12. All right. We're going to change the world. christianwinners.com. All right. Let me finish this up. Find the foundation of your potential. Finding the foundation of your potential. Here we go. It's 5 questions. It's 5 questions you got to ask yourself. And I'll part 2 this tomorrow. But we got to find the foundation of our potential. The only way to move fully into your potential is to find the foundation of your potential. How do I find the foundation of my potential, Christian? Here it is. Here's the question. The first question you got to ask is, who am I? Not what I did, not where I fell, not the mistake I made. Who am I? Who are you? That's the first question you got to ask. We'll discuss this at my table of 12, okay? These are the questions I'll dig into on a personal level with the 12 men. And we're going to build this 12 until it becomes 144,000. We're going to build this 12 until it becomes 200,000. And then we're going to change the nation. We're going to change the nation. All right? Find the foundation of your potential. Who am I? Where did I come from? That's a question of origin. The question of where did I come from? This is looking at your parents, right? This is looking at your parents. Who were my parents? Who were they? How were they? It's a study of your temperament. Your temperament. I'm going to say this. Goodness gracious. Where are these balloons coming from? I'm going to say this. Goodness gracious. I got so much to teach you guys. Your temperament, you cannot change. You hear me, Instagram? You hear me, Facebook, YouTube? There are certain things about yourself you cannot change. Like, for example, I can have an anger issue, right? What I realize is all my life, it's like, okay, I got to change that. I got to get that, maybe I should go to anger management, right? I'm not knocking anger management. What I'm saying to you is this. I recognize that my anger issue a lot of time was tied to my temperament. My father was like that. As my cousin was on here, you saw him. He was like that. My grandfather, all my uncles were very direct, in your face, unafraid men, right? And I start seeing a negative side of that, where I was getting too angry at things, right? Or lashing out at certain things, or just being, too touchy, right? What I realized was that's not something I can change because it's part of my temperament, but it's something I can recognize so that I can prevent it when it's on the way. So let me say this to you, brothers. There's certain things about you that can change. There's certain things about you that will not change because it's part of your temperament. But that's not a reason to say this is just me. Deal with me. No, it's your temperament. It comes from your parents and your 4 grandparents. And when you deal with temperament, what you have to do is you have to recognize the issue so you can see it when it's coming. Why are you teaching us this, Christian? I'm teaching you this, brothers, because I don't want y'all walking around ashamed or guilty because there's things about yourself that you just can't seem to change. I'm trying to explain it to you that it will not just change. It's in your temperament. You got to recognize it. This is why you need to go to christianwinners.com right now and sign up for my table of 12 giants, because this is what I talk about in an intimate setting online. Every Saturday, I'll be lifting men up. I'll be talking to you personally, asking questions back and forth. It's like a group counseling, because we got to raise up some damn giants. We need some giants. We need some giants in our city. I see one on my Instagram. All right. Philly for radio. That's a giant. That's one of our giants in our city. That guy's doing major stuff. Security in our city. I watch you, kid. I don't say much to you, but I watch you. He's doing security, doing mental health. I see you, kid. I see what you're doing. But it's guys like you who don't have enough backing. And I ain't talking about backing with finances back. You know plenty of people in the city, but I'm talking about men like you, giants like y'all. Y'all need spiritual backing. A man who can get behind you and whisper wisdom in your ear as you do your gift. That's me. What I want to be, people say, what you trying to be? What you trying to be? I'm trying to be a father to many nations. You want to know who Christian Winners is? Or what my goal is? It's simple. A father to many nations. This nation doesn't have a father, right? You got clowns in government. You don't have fathers, right? You got everybody's monetizing their gift. Everybody got something to sell. That's not a father. A father will give and change society without taking something from nobody. I'm a father of many nations. That's what I am. I'm going to be a father to entrepreneurs and a father to businessmen. I'll be a father to a homeless man. I'll also be a father to a Fortune 500 because at the end of the day, all men, no matter what your race, creed, or color is, all of us have the same issues and we also have the same enemy. The question is what we're going to do about it. All right, who am I? Where did I come from? What burdens me? What burdens me? You got to look at that. What burdens me? Because most of the time, the thing that burdens and bothers you the most is the thing you're called to change. What lifts my soul? What makes you feel better about yourself? What lifts you up? And the fifth question, what can I do in the world around me? 5 questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? What burdens me? What lifts my soul? And what can I do to change the world around me? Here's my close. Good morning, gentlemen. Here's where we close. Here's my final statement for the day. For this morning. Don't apologize for disconnecting from weakness. Don't apologize for disconnecting from weakness. Instagram, don't apologize for disconnecting from weakness. Facebook, don't apologize for disconnecting from weakness. YouTube, don't apologize for disconnecting from weakness. It's man time. It's man hour. It's time for men to stand up, men to take care of their families, men to change society and not wait on a crooked government, crooked religious systems, crooked educational systems. It's time for men to stand up and be the system. I love you. Good morning. Go to my website, christianwinners.com. All right. Christian Winners, dear brother, the advice, if you got any questions, any advice you got to give, let me see. Please give the 5. Oh, yes, I'll give the 5 one more time. Here's the 5. Here's the 5. Here's the 5. Here's the 5. Let me see. Let me go back. All right. This dear brother, the advice. I'll do this for a little bit. I'll take maybe 4 questions if you have them. 4 questions or advice you need on business, on relationship, on growing, on forgiveness, how to do this, how to do this. Men, don't be afraid. I know how we are. Well, I ain't gonna put nothing in the chat. I don't want to expose myself. Dog, that's the problem. You won't expose yourself. That's why we stay broken. We won't look for help. That's why we stay broken. If you Christian, this is dear brother, the advice. Step into the chat on Instagram or Facebook. I'm sorry, in the chat on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. The advice. All right. Let me go back. I'll put it in the chat. Let me see. Here we go. Here's the 5 questions. The 5 finding the foundation of your potential. Y'all ready? Here's how I find the foundation of my potential. I don't go into all these on my podcast, but go to my website, christianwinners.com. And these are the questions. These are the things we'll work through at the table of 12 giants every month. It's free. It's free. You get to sit with 12 men. You get to sit with me. We'll sit down online and we'll gather. We'll build friendship. We'll start connecting men that have the same vision so we can change society. Here's the 5. Finding the foundation of your potential. Number 1, who am I? Who am I? Not what I've done, not the failure, but who am I? Who was I before the fall? Who am I? Number 2, where did I come from? Right? These are the parents. These are your parents, your 4 grandparents. That's what builds your temperament as a man. Right? These are the things about yourself that you can't change. 3rd, what burdens me? Because most times the thing that burdens and bothers you is the thing you're called to change. Number 5, what lifts my soul? When do I feel most accepted? When do I feel most creative? When do I feel most powerful? When do I feel most confident? Number 5, what can I do in the world around me? What can I do in the world around me? Everybody's not going to be a president. Everybody's not going to be a senator. Everybody's not going to be that. In fact, if I was a man, I am a man, but I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't want those seats. I wouldn't want the mayor's seat. I wouldn't want the president's seat. I wouldn't want the Senate seat, because those seats require you to do what people want you to do. And the God mandate on your life gets gone. I wouldn't want any of those seats. You know, the only seat I want, and the only seat I want you to want as a man, is I want you to want the seat that God puts you in, at the right hand of the Father. It's called a seat of authority. Because you can be a president and not have authority. You can be the head of a company and not have authority. You can be a pastor of a church and not have authority. You can be an imam heading a masjid and not have authority. Your seat or your title doesn't speak authority. The results of your presence speak to your authority. Any questions? Anybody need dear brotherly advice? I'm done teaching. Anybody need advice? Let me go in the chat. Let me see. Very good. Yes, sir, Larry. I'm glad you got those down. Thanks for putting those in the chat, Larry. Appreciate you. Listen, all the brothers on Facebook, thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming in. All my YouTube partners, thank you for commenting. Listen, guys, before I go, here we go. This is the mission I'm on right now. All right? This is the mission I'm on right now. I need you to be a part of it. This is our mission as our community, our Dear Brother podcast community. Men, the reason why men don't go to church and men aren't religious as they were before is because men don't like to sit around and just listen to somebody talk. Men want to do something. Men want to put something in their hand and change the world. Well, this is our first mission, brothers, and it's a big one. It's 36,357 Instagram. You can't see this on my screen, but it's 36,357 incarcerated men in Pennsylvania. My goal is to get this book, Home Where Hurt Men Heal. Here it is, Instagram. Here it is, YouTube and Facebook. Home Where Hurt Men Heal, right? I wrote this book in the car while I was homeless in 2022, right? My heart is connected to it. The last chapter is a diary of what I went through every single day. God told me, start writing. Don't complain. Start writing. And when I start writing, I came out with a book for men, right? And so I want to get this book into 36,357 men's hands in the Pennsylvania prison system. That's my goal. Well, how do you help me do this? How can you help me do this? You can donate $20. It's tax exemption. We are a 501c3 organization. We're called Master Built Men. You'll see it. Master Built Men, right? $20, a tax exempt donation will allow me to get this book into 2 incarcerated men's hands. $10 will get me a book into everybody's hand, okay? And 36,357 men, right? The ladies on my podcast, you'll see on the Dear Sister podcast, I also have a book called The Soul of Sarah. There are 3,600 women incarcerated in Pennsylvania. My goal is to get this into 3,600 women's hands that's in prison in Pennsylvania. All right, you'll see this later, Dear Sarah. But these, not Dear Sarah, The Soul of Sarah. But brothers, this is my project. This is our project. We don't want to forget about incarcerated men. They're not prisoners. They're incarcerated men. Just as much as you shouldn't be defined by your mistake, we can't define men in prison by their mistake, right? They did it just like you did it. There's a lot of stuff you did, you just didn't get caught. So there's no reason to judge men that are locked up. But we can help men that are incarcerated. There's 36,357 men in prison. You donate Master Built 1. If you want to give and donate to this project, Master Built 1, I will not give up on this project until 36,000 men are covered. You can give the Master Built 1 on Cash App or Venmo. $20 donation will allow me to send 2 books to men. The books are $10 a piece. So if you want to send more, if $10 will get me a book into the men's hands, will allow me to get this book into men's hands. Master Built One. All right. Master Built One on Cash App, Master Built One on Venmo. Help me with this mission. All right, my brothers. All right. No more than the chat. All right. Well, my brothers, you're valuable. Be great today. Like, share, subscribe. Most of all, share. If you do anything, share with other men. Let me pray for you before you go for the day. God, it's Monday. There are great men under the sound of my voice. There are men under the sound of my voice. You're not what you did. You're not the mistake you made. You're a brilliant man. And Father, today, I want you to cover every single one of these brothers as they go. Let no harm come by them. I pray that they be wise today. And I pray each and every man, no matter what city, what country, wherever they are this morning, that today would be a day they decide to be the man they are and not the man that their enemy wants them to be. I pray for your confidence. I pray for your mind. I pray for your finances. Most of all, I pray that you get aware of who you are, your strength, your power, your ability. I pray that you know you're loved by God, your family, and you're loved by your brother right here named Christian. I love you, gentlemen. Have a great day today.